The Nican Mopohua. Part 4, verses 143 to 209. The Miracle of Guadalupe. In this final chapter of Juan Diego's extraordinary mission, the Virgin Mary's miraculous sign is revealed, forever changing the hearts of all who witness it. When he arrived at the bishop's house, the doorkeeper and the other servants met him. He asked them to announce his arrival, but they ignored him, perhaps because it was still very early, or because they were already familiar with him and considered him a nuisance. Some servants who had previously encountered him had warned others about him. Juan Diego waited patiently for a long time, standing with his head bowed, holding the flowers in his tilma. When the servants noticed him waiting so long and saw that he was carrying something, curiosity got the better of them. They approached to see what he had in the hollow of his tilma. Seeing no way to avoid them, Juan Diego revealed a small glimpse of what he carried. They were amazed to see beautiful, fresh flowers like those of Castile, blooming in a season when such flowers could not exist. Their buds were open, and they released a delightful fragrance. The servants tried 3 times to grab some of the flowers, but they were unable to touch them. When they reached out, the flowers seemed to disappear, appearing instead as if they were painted or embroidered into the tilma. The servants hurried to tell the bishop about the flowers, and that the lowly Indian who had visited before was waiting to see him. The bishop, upon hearing this, felt certain that this was the sign he had requested to confirm the lady's will. He immediately ordered the servants to let Juan Diego in. Once inside, Juan Diego prostrated himself before the bishop as he had done before. He recounted everything he had seen, heard, and admired, saying,
"My lord and governor, I have done as you asked. I told the lady, my mistress, the heavenly maiden, Saint Mary, the beloved Mother of God, that you requested a sign to believe me and to build her sacred house. I also gave her my word to bring you the sign you asked for. She listened to your request and fulfilled her promise. Early this morning, she instructed me to gather flowers from the top of the hill where I had seen her before. Despite the hill being barren and rocky, I found it transformed, filled with blooming flowers like those of Castile. I cut them as she commanded, and she took them into her venerable hands before placing them in my tilma for me to bring to you. She said this would serve as proof, so you would see her will and know my words to you are true. Here they are. Please, accept them."
Juan Diego then opened his white tilma, and the flowers spilled onto the floor. At that moment, the tilma became the ultimate sign. The beloved image of the perfect Virgin, Saint Mary, Mother of God, appeared on the tilma in the exact form and figure in which it is now revered in her sacred house at Tepeyac, known as Guadalupe. The bishop and all present fell to their knees in awe. Overcome with emotion, they gazed at the image, their hearts and minds lifted in reverence. The bishop, weeping with humility and sorrow, begged forgiveness for his delay in carrying out the lady's will. The bishop untied Juan Diego's tilma, where the miraculous image had been revealed, and placed it in his private chapel. He kept Juan Diego in his home overnight. The next day, accompanied by the bishop, Juan Diego showed the place where the Lady of Heaven wanted her chapel to be built. Afterward, Juan Diego returned home to see his uncle, Juan Bernardino, who had been gravely ill. When they arrived, they found Juan Bernardino completely healed, just as the Lady of Heaven had promised. Juan Bernardino shared his own miraculous encounter with the Virgin, who had appeared to him and healed him at the very moment she assured Juan Diego of his recovery. She also revealed her name to him, saying,
"You shall call me the perfect Virgin, Saint Mary of Guadalupe."
Both Juan Diego and Juan Bernardino gave their testimony to the bishop, who lodged them in his home while the chapel was being built. The beloved image was later moved from the bishop's chapel to the main church so that everyone could behold and venerate it. The entire city was filled with awe and devotion, marveling at the miraculous way the image had appeared, for no earthly hand had painted it. Nican Mopohua is brought to you by Juan Diego Network, featuring an original translation and adaptation of the text for the English language. Thank you for listening.